It is perhaps the biggest, most universal lie that we all tell ourselves.
Oh, absolutely.
It usually happens right around, say, 3 o'clock in the afternoon,
Yeah.
or maybe late at night when the glow of your laptop monitor is the only light in the whole room.
Right?
You take a deep breath, you look at the blinking cursor on the screen or that huge pile of dirty clothes, and you whisper those magical, super dangerous words, "I will do it tomorrow."
Uh-huh. Yes. It sounds so harmless in the moment. Almost responsible. Like you are not abandoning the work, you are just rescheduling it.
Yeah, you are negotiating a little ceasefire with your own stress.
Exactly. But it is a ceasefire with terrible terms. Because we all know how this plays out in daily life. Tomorrow arrives, and through some dark magic, tomorrow suddenly turns into next week.
And then next week becomes next month. And before we go deeper, I just want to say welcome to today's deep dive. We are looking at some really fascinating source material called Breaking the Cycle of Procrastination.
It is a great topic.
And the mission of our deep dive today is not just to make you, the listener, feel guilty about putting things off. Our goal is to figure out exactly why our brains choose to delay important tasks and how to actually fix it using the notes we have.
Yeah, and the sources have some amazing tips. Really simple things you can use right away.
For sure. And while I was reading the notes, I kept thinking of an analogy. Procrastination is exactly like a credit card.
Oh, I love that comparison. Break that down for us.
Okay, so think about swiping a credit card at the mall for something you cannot really afford.
Yeah.
You get that instant happy feeling, right? You get the shoes or the gadget right now.
Yeah, instant gratification.
Right. And with procrastination, you are buying relief. You get the immediate happy feeling of avoiding your homework or your office presentation. You just say, I do not have to deal with this right now.
You are putting that peace of mind on a credit card.
Exactly. But the interest rate on this psychological credit card is super high. You pay that interest entirely in the form of massive heavy stress later on.
You are borrowing peace from your future self, and that interest just keeps growing.
It really does.
The happiness you feel at 3 p.m. today is paid for by the panic you will feel at 3 a.m. the night before the project is due.
Yes, that midnight panic is the worst.
Yeah.
So, to understand why we do this, the text says we need to properly define what procrastination actually is.
And the most important thing our source text points out is that procrastination is not the same as laziness.
Right, they are different.
Laziness is when you just do not care. You do not want to do it, and you feel fine about it. But procrastination is active. It is the conscious choice to delay something that you know you really should be doing right now.
You know you have to do it, you want the result, but you choose to watch a movie instead. It is like you're a passenger in a car, watching the car drive into a ditch, and you are fully aware your hands are not on the steering wheel.
That is a scary image, but so true. And the text gives some really common everyday examples that we all face.
Oh yeah, like delaying a big school assignment or putting off a tricky work email.
Or the most famous one globally, avoiding the gym or avoiding exercise.
Oh man, the exercise excuse is a classic. We always wait for the perfect conditions. I cannot go for a walk today. It is a little cloudy, and I have not made my perfect gym-using playlist yet. Better start tomorrow.
We just make up fake problems. But the most interesting part of the text is about the phrase everyone uses to hide their procrastination, the ultimate lie.
The next Monday. Illusion.
Yes, I will start next Monday.
I read that part in the notes and I had to laugh. Why do we all do this? Why do we love Monday so much? Nobody ever says, you know what, I am going to start my new strict diet on a random Thursday afternoon at 3:45 p.m.
Never.
The human brain just loves the idea of a clean slate, like a fresh Monday, even if that Monday is 4 days away.
It is a brilliant trick the brain plays. Psychologists call it the fresh start effect. Things like next Monday or the first of the month or New Year's Day.
Oh, New Year's resolutions are the biggest trap.
Right. These milestones make us feel like we can separate our past mistakes from our future perfection. It takes away all the responsibility for today.
I mean, if my rule is I will eat healthy starting Monday, then that means Thursday, Friday, and the whole weekend, I am completely free to eat junk food. I gave myself an official permission slip to be lazy.
Exactly. You totally separate yourself from your future self. You actually convince yourself that the future you waking up on Monday morning is going to be a completely different person.
Oh yeah, future me is amazing. Future me wakes up at 5 a.m., drinks green tea, does yoga, and never uses the snooze button on the alarm.
Future you sounds exhausting, honestly.
Right. But the sad truth is, The person who wakes up on Monday is the exact same tired person who went to sleep on Sunday night.
Exactly. There is nothing magical about Monday. The office work is just as boring on Monday as it was on Thursday.
So true. So, we know how we delay things. Now let's talk about the why. Our deep dive sources make a really sharp observation here. We do not procrastinate on eating ice cream, right?
No.
Or watching our favorite YouTube channels. We only procrastinate on things that our brain thinks are difficult.
And difficult does not always mean hard math problems. It can mean something that makes us feel bad or bored or just emotionally tired.
So the text gives us 5 specific reasons. 5 pillars of delay, why we swipe that procrastination credit card. Let's go through them simply.
Sure. Pillar number 1 from the notes is fear of failure.
This one is huge.
It really is. It is this hidden thought that if we do not try our hardest, then we cannot really fail.
Wow. So if I want to start a YouTube channel, but I never actually make a video, nobody can tell me my videos are bad.
Exactly. The unwritten book is always a bestseller in your head.
That is wild.
Yeah.
It is a way to protect our ego.
Let's use a classic example. A student has a big exam. If they wait until the night before to study and they get a bad grade, their ego is safe. They can tell their friends, oh, I only got a low grade because I studied for 2 hours. If I studied for a week, I would have been the topper.
Oh man, that is so common. So they create an excuse. You didn't fail because you are not smart. You failed because you did not have time. And not having time feels much better than not being smart.
You control the story. That is the fear of failure.
Okay, so that brings us to the second pillar from the text, which is perfectionism.
Yes. The dangerous idea that everything must be completely flawless.
But wait, people always say perfectionism is a good thing, right? Like in job interviews. My biggest weakness is that I am a perfectionist. I work too hard.
Haha. Yes, it is a very stylish excuse. It wears a nice suit. But our source text says that perfectionism is actually a roadblock. It is often just the fear of failure wearing a mask.
Really? How does that work?
Think about it. If you tell yourself that your project has to be 100% perfect before you even begin, your brain knows that is impossible. Humans cannot be perfect.
Right.
So your brain says, well, if we have to be perfect, let's just not start at all. Because starting means making a mess.
Ah, I see. You were so scared of making a bad first draft that you just stare at the blank page.
Yes, you want the final beautiful painting without doing the messy sketching first.
That makes total sense.
Hmm.
Okay, pillar number 3. Feeling overwhelmed.
This happens when a task just feels way too big to handle.
Okay, let's use an Indian household example here. The famous Diwali ki safai, the deep cleaning of the house before the Diwali festival.
Oh, the ultimate overwhelming task.
Right. You stand in the storeroom, there are boxes from 10 years ago,
Yeah.
old clothes, dust everywhere. You feel completely overwhelmed, so you say, I will do it later.
Yep.
But here is my question for the text. Delaying the cleaning does not clean the room. In fact, more dust will gather. Does the brain not realize that avoiding the problem today makes it worse tomorrow?
That is the central paradox, my friend. Your brain's alarm system, the emotional part, is taking over. Procrastination is not a time management problem. It is an emotional problem.
Oh, that is interesting. Explain that a bit more.
When you look at that messy storeroom, your brain's threat center sees it as a literal danger. It causes anxiety and stress. And your brain's main job is to keep you safe and comfortable right now.
So the messy room is like a tiger in the jungle to my brain.
Basically, yes. And how do you escape the stress of the tiger? You walk out of the room and close the door.
Wow.
The second you decide to procrastinate, your stress drops to 0. Your brain rewards you. Good job, you escaped the danger.
But the danger is still in the room. And the festival is getting closer.
Exactly. The time you have to clean is shrinking, which means the stress will be even worse when you finally open that door again.
We bought 30 minutes apiece by creating a massive panic attack for next week.
Perfectly said. And that leads to the 4th reason for delay. Lack of motivation.
Ah, waiting for the right mood.
Yes, the idea that you have to feel inspired to do the work. I will study when I feel energized.
We treat motivation like the weather, like, oh, the weather's cloudy today and my brain is cloudy too, so I cannot possibly finish my homework.
We think motivation is the spark that starts the car engine. And if there is no spark, we have an excuse to stay in bed.
Our notes have a huge solution for this, but we will get to that in a minute. We have to cover the final boss first, the 5th pillar, distractions.
And the text specifically points to the mobile phone in your pocket.
Oh, the ultimate trap. People used to procrastinate by staring out the window. Now we have a supercomputer in our hands.
It is not just a distraction, it is built to keep you hooked. It is like a slot machine for your brain's happy chemicals, dopamine.
Yes, like when you open Instagram Reels or YouTube Shorts.
Yeah.
You never know what the next video will be.
Exactly. Sometimes it is boring, but sometimes it is a really funny joke or a message from a friend. That surprise keeps your brain swiping and swiping.
Compare that to reading a boring textbook. The textbook has no surprise. Page 40 is just as boring as page 39.
Haha, yes. It is not a fair fight. If you are feeling stressed about work, your phone is a magical escape door. You do not even have to stand up to run away from your problems. You just move your thumb.
It's one swipe. So we have these 5 pillars making us delay: fear of failure, perfectionism, feeling overwhelmed, waiting for motivation, and our smartphones. But the source text mentions something even more tricky. It calls it the productivity trap.
Oh, this is where we really lie to ourselves.
It is so relatable. The text gives a story. Someone decides to clean their room, but instead of cleaning, they sit on their messy bed and watch YouTube videos about how to be productive.
Yes, watching videos on how to organize your life instead of actually organizing it.
I am so guilty of this. You sit down to study, but first you spend 2 hours highlighting your timetable with 4 different colored pens.
Because it feels like work.
It really does. You feel so smart and organized.
But that feeling is what makes it dangerous. When you eat junk food instead of studying, you know you were doing something wrong. You feel guilty.
Right, the guilt is instant.
But when you watch a video on the best morning routine, your brain gets confused. It thinks you are doing actual work. It feels productive, but you have moved 0 steps toward your real goal.
You get the happy feeling of finishing work without actually doing the hard work. Wow. You can spend your whole life getting ready to do the work and never actually do it.
Like buying the most expensive running shoes, reading a book about running, watching videos about marathons, but never actually going outside for a jog.
That is hilarious but sad. And all this delay creates a heavy physical toll, right? The text talks about a stress compound effect.
Yes. And it is tied to how our memory works. It is called the Zeigarnik effect.
Let's explain that simply for the listener.
Sure. In the 1920s, a psychologist noticed that waiters in a cafe could remember huge, complicated food orders without writing them down.
Okay.
But the moment the food was delivered and the customer paid, the waiter completely forgot the order.
Because the job was done.
Right. Our brains hold on to unfinished tasks. When you procrastinate, that task stays open in your brain's background memory.
Oh, like leaving 20 apps open on your phone.
Oh,
It drains the battery even when the screen is off.
That is a perfect example. Every time you walk past your messy desk or remember that email you didn't send, you get a little spike of stress. And as days pass, those little spikes grow into a huge mountain of anxiety.
Which brings us to my favorite quote from the deep dive notes. The text says, "Tomorrow is often the busiest day of the week."
It is such a powerful sentence. What does that mean to you?
I mean, it is just crazy how we think about tomorrow. We treat tomorrow like it is a magical cupboard with infinite space. We just throw all our dirty clothes, bad decisions, and hard work into that cupboard and shut the door.
We think the version of us that lives in tomorrow is a superhero with unlimited energy.
Exactly. But tomorrow's just a normal Tuesday. It only has 24 hours. And tomorrow will have its own new problems.
New emails, new traffic jams, new tiredness.
Right. You are taking today's heavy bag, putting it on top of tomorrow's heavy bag, and expecting yourself to carry both with the same amount of strength. It is impossible.
And when tomorrow comes and you cannot do all those tasks, how do you feel?
You feel like a complete failure.
And feeling like a failure feeds your fear of failure, which makes you feel overwhelmed, which makes you procrastinate again. It is a loop that never ends.
Okay, we have diagnosed the problem. We know the disease. The picture looks a bit dark. But let's pivot to the solutions, because the source notes give us the medicine. How do we rewire the process?
The text gives very practical, simple steps to stop that brain alarm from going off. And the very first step is start with small tasks.
It sounds almost too simple, right? Start small.
It sounds basic, but it is a psychological hack. Think about starting a task like pushing a heavy car. Pushing it the first few inches takes the most energy.
Yeah, getting it moving is the hardest part.
When you look at a massive project, the energy needed to start is so huge your brain says no. So the second step from the text is break big goals into smaller, digestible steps.
Okay, so going back to our Diwali cleaning example, if my goal is clean the whole house, my brain sees a tiger and runs away.
Right. Clean the house is too big. You have to change the goal. Change it to, I'm going to walk into the room, pick up one single empty box, and throw it in the dustbin.
But wait, let me ask you this. If I know the rest of the house is super dirty, Doesn't my brain know I am tricking it? Does picking up one box actually work?
It does work
Yeah.
because you are lowering the barrier. Telling yourself to throw away one box is so easy, it takes almost zero mental energy. You cannot be afraid of failing to pick up one box. It neutralizes the overwhelm.
You make it so easy that it's actually embarrassing if you do not do it.
Exactly. And once you pick up that box, you are moving. You are no longer stuck on the sofa. And the third strategy helps you actually do it. Set hard deadlines.
What does a hard deadline mean compared to a normal one?
Well, I will do it next Monday is a soft fake deadline. A hard deadline is very specific and real. It is not, I will read my book tonight. It is, I will sit at my desk and read one page at exactly 7:00 p.m.
Wow, okay. It anchors it to reality.
Yeah.
If the clock says 7:31 p.m. and I am not reading, I know I failed. There is no place to hide.
Yes. And to make sure you succeed at 7:00 p.m., the text gives a fourth step, which is absolutely necessary today. Remove distractions immediately.
You have to fight the slot machine.
You cannot win against your phone using just willpower. Your willpower gets tired. The phone never gets tired.
So true.
You have to physically move the distraction, put the phone in another room, give it to your mom and tell her not to give it back for 30 minutes. You have to lock the escape door before your brain tries to run away.
That is a great trick. Give it to family. So, shrink the task to something tiny, set a hard clock time, and throw your phone in the other room.
Yes.
But the notes also give us a mindset shift. We talked about perfectionism holding us back. The text gives us a great mantra. Done is better than perfect.
Done is better than perfect. It is life-changing if you really understand it.
I always compare this to an artist painting a picture. If the artist stares at a white canvas and says, "My first brushstroke must be a masterpiece," their hand will freeze. They are terrified of ruining the clean white space.
Because white space has no mistakes yet.
Right. But if the goal is just to quickly sketch some messy shapes, just draw a rough circle for a head, it removes the fear. Is it beautiful? No, it looks like a kid drew it. But it is something. You cannot fix a blank canvas. You have to put some messy paint on it first, so you have something to improve.
That is a beautiful way to think about it. Done gives you material to fix. Perfect keeps you frozen. If you write a terrible first draft of an essay, you have actually won. Because now you can correct the spelling, move the sentences around, and make it good.
You can fix bad English. You cannot fix an empty page.
Exactly. You give yourself permission to be a beginner. Give yourself permission to make a mess.
I love that. Done is better than perfect. Now let's talk about the final and maybe the biggest mind-blowing idea from our deep dive today. Earlier we talked about waiting for motivation.
Yes, waiting for the feeling to strike.
Right. The idea that people wait for motivation to take action. But the text flips this completely upside down. It says, action creates motivation.
This is the golden rule, my friend. It destroys the myth that you need to feel good before you work.
Explain the science of this to us. Why does doing the work actually create the feeling?
It is about physics and biology. When you are sitting on the couch, your body is at rest. Moving from the couch to the study table takes a huge burst of uncomfortable energy. That is why starting feels so bad.
So we just sit there, hoping a magical wave of energy will wash over us.
But that wave never comes while you are sitting. Your brain will not give you energy if you are just resting safely. But when you force yourself to take that first tiny action, like reading just one single sentence, you break the freeze.
You get the wheels turning.
Yes, and your brain sees that you completed a task, even a tiny one, so it releases a little drop of dopamine. That dopamine gives you a tiny spike of energy, and that energy is the motivation to read the next sentence.
Oh, wow. So the action actually creates the momentum, and the momentum creates the chemicals in your brain that make you want to keep going.
Exactly. The engine charges its own battery once it starts driving, but you have to manually turn the key yourself. You cannot sit in the car waiting for it to drive itself just because it feels motivated.
That changes everything. If you are listening to us right now and you are stressed about a big task, the main takeaway is you do not need to feel inspired to start.
Not at all.
You just need to take one mechanical, emotionless step. Write one word, put on one shoe. The motivation is hiding on the other side of that first step.
Action comes first. The feeling comes second.
Well, we have covered so much ground today. Let's do a quick recap for everyone listening to summarize this deep dive.
We started by learning that procrastination is not laziness. It is our brain running away from difficult emotions like fear of failure or feeling overwhelmed.
Right. We talked about the next Monday lie and how we dump all our problems into the magical cupboard called tomorrow.
We talked about how phones act like slot machines, distracting us instantly, and how watching productivity videos is just a fake way of working.
And we learned the cure. Break the work into super small pieces. Pick up just one box. Give your phone to someone else. Set a hard time to start.
Remember that done is better than perfect. Just make a messy start.
And most importantly, do not wait for the mood to strike. Action creates motivation.
Take the step, get the dopamine.
So as we wrap up this conversation, I want to leave you, our listener, with a direct challenge from our source material. The text has a famous saying, "Do not put off until tomorrow what you can do today." A classic rule. Look at your own life right now. What is that one thing hanging over your head making you feel stressed? What is the smallest, easiest step you can take toward it today? Not next week, today.
Lower the bar, make it super easy, and just take one step.
And to leave you with one final provocative thought from the notes. It perfectly sums up everything we talked about. The text says, you do not have to be great to start, but you have to start to be great.
Oh, that is powerful.
Think about that. All your potential, your goals, your success, it is frozen right now. It is stuck behind a wall because you are waiting for a perfect, magical moment that does not exist in the real world.
The perfect moment will never come.
The only way to succeed is to step forward and make a clumsy, imperfect start. The psychological credit card is maxed out, you say. The bill has to be paid.
And the only way to pay it is with immediate action.
Stop waiting for the cloudy weather to clear up.
Pick up that first box.
Put some messy paint on the blank canvas. Do it today. Thanks for hanging out with us. We will catch you next time.